think I've set a lot of goals here for myself on YouTube and in fighting games and just as a person in general. But I've been in a little bit of a slump lately, and that has led me to get a little bit more introspective and look for myself for answers rather than looking for others. So today I want to ask myself why I'm not where I want to be as a player, as a competitor, and as a person. And I hope by sharing this little conversation with myself that somebody out there can find an answer of their own. Sometimes on this channel you'll notice that I want to talk about fighting games, and sometimes you'll notice that I want to talk with fighting games. First of all, let's talk about why I'm not where I want to be as a player, right? By this time, I wanted to be a diamond rank in Street Fighter V, and I wanted to have won something notable. When you set these goals, I feel like you have a very clear mindset. You have a clear line of A to B and how you want to get there. What you don't account for and what you cannot account for is all the obstacles in between. At A, I was a beginner player at my first local, and I hope to reach B and be something far greater. Beyond the obvious physical obstacles like COVID, keeping locals away, geographic barriers, and netcode, there are countless mental obstacles that I think any competitor faces and any player is going to face that you just can't account for until you reach it. I don't think it's because nobody warned you or nobody can warn you. I think it's just because everybody faces their mental blocks differently. And in the pursuit of something greater in whatever you're passionate about, whether that be fighting games, whether that be YouTube or Twitch or music or whatever that you feel like is your life's calling, I think those obstacles become far greater because they hold so much more value to you. When you overcome that obstacle, it feels so great, but finding the willpower to climb that mountain is something very admirable and something that you have to find within yourself. And that's just what I've been learning lately. I think in a weird way, fighting games have taught me more about myself than anything else I've ever tried. It's taught me that I have the perseverance to keep going. It's taught me that I have confidence issues to work on. It's taught me that I have a competitive drive, that I have social skills, and that if you have a question, just ask. The worst that anybody can say is no. I've learned in the pursuit of something far greater than myself, I'm going to hit barriers, I'm going to have to climb hills, I'm going to have to climb mountains, but those green patches in between, time in the sun, the 15 minutes of fame, whatever you want to call it, make that adversity worth overcoming. I think the closer and closer you make it to that point B, to your end goal, the line just keeps extending. In reality, there is no point B. If you ever did reach point B, that would be the end. And I think that as long as you have a drive, as long as you have a passion, you're going to continuously set goals, and you'll realize that point B doesn't exist, and it never really did. So I think the reason why I'm not where I want to be as a player right now is because I've hit my first mountain. So far, it's been pretty smooth sailing. I'll find a hill, I'll get myself over it, but now I'm at a mountain. And I'm at the base scratching my head trying to figure out how to overcome it. I think the easiest answer to this is to just play the game, just to keep playing the game and keep learning, but sometimes it's hard to bring myself to do so, and I think that is the root of everything. That's the root of the cause, is my lack of determination right now. I think somewhere along the way I forgot that fighting games can be fun. I forgot that Street Fighter V can be fun. The game is nearing the end of its life cycle, and it feels like there's nothing for me to prove competitively, right? Everybody who's been a champion has pretty much been determined at this point, and everybody who's good at the game in my local scene has pretty much been determined at this point. The game is 4 to 5 years old. So where do I fit into that equation? And the answer is I don't. I haven't proved myself, and I haven't really done much. In the game, that is. In the game, there's not very much for me to prove competitively anymore, and that's kind of true for a lot of the games I like. Guilty Gear Rev 2 is also about 4 to 5 years old, and like I said, Street Fighter is near the end of its lifespan as well. So I think I've just found myself very complacent waiting for Strive to come out, waiting for the next iteration of a big game to come out, for me to get a chance to prove myself in my local scene and wherever else I may go. It can just be a little bit daunting playing a game that's 4 to 5 years old that everybody knows everything about already, and you're consistently playing catch up all the time. And you sort of missed out on that discovery phase with everybody else where you're finding new and exciting things every day. It still happens with Street Fighter V and its new updates here and there, but I just can't help but feel like I missed out on a lot of the discovery hype and a lot of the competitive esports hype in the past. I'm sort of in a weird place right now where I don't know if I'm in a slump or if I'm just really eagerly awaiting another game, or a little bit of both. So I think as a player and competitor, the root of my issue here, after talking to myself for 4 minutes and hopefully somebody's listening, is I just don't have the determination to play. And if I really, really wanted to win, I'd be playing the game right now. And it's as simple as that. When I tell you guys that these commentaries are almost like therapy for me, I'm not lying. These are conclusions that I'm coming to in real time. There's no script. I'm just on Audacity talking to my computer, and then I'll pause and delete something if I mess up. It's just straight off the top of my head. It's just a flowing narrative that sort of spills out of my mouth. Now that we sort of figured that out, let's talk about why I'm not where I want to be as a person, I don't think. Some of you guys know I'm a college student. I'm in my 3rd year, and I'm 22. So ideally, I should have graduated by now. But out of high school, I went to a community college for a few years, and that took a little longer than expected, and then I transferred here to where I'm at now, a full 4-year university who took most, if not all, of my credits. And while I did save a lot of money going to a community college before I transferred here, I'm a little bit behind my peers. A lot of my friends are already graduated, already working jobs, or pursuing their passions. Meanwhile, I'm here in my apartment taking online classes and not really having much of a social life. And I think that things like social media sort of are really bad for people in my position, not because people shouldn't post what they want or people shouldn't post their victories, but because that's all I'm really seeing, right? I'm only seeing whatever somebody wants to show me, which is usually them celebrating or doing good, which is great, more power to you, but just makes me feel a bit inadequate sometimes. It makes me feel like I'm not doing what I should be. And eventually brought up the same question that Street Fighter V did. Why am I not where I want to be? And then you have to really think about where you do want to be. And I genuinely couldn't tell you. I don't really know where I want to be. I think that the only goal that I really have set long-term wise and lifestyle wise outside of any game is to hit a couple thousand subscribers and maybe make something of this. Other than that, I don't think I have much of a plan. And as somebody who really thrives on having a plan on what to do every day, a real creature of habit, that's scary. But I genuinely hope and think that if I put my nose to the grindstone and really keep my head down and keep working at this YouTube thing and this fighting game thing and maybe even Twitch, I could make something of it. Anyways, I think that's it for today. Please let me know what you think of the audio, by the way. I've been moving the mic around throughout the commentary, so if there's a certain spot that sounds good, please let me know. Or if the whole thing sounded good, even better. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.